Hello, Degens! Welcome to Degenerate Takes. I'm the brofict one, AJ. And with me, as always, is the sportsbook whisperer, the man with the numbers, the college basketball guru, Mr. Noah Engelbretson. Noah, how the hell are you doing today?
AJ, it's another day stacked, chock full of college basketball. I'm doing
Oh,
fantastic.
yeah. Oh, Noah, I don't know about you. I literally somehow worked it so that I woke up about 30 minutes before the Syracuse game, got my bet in, and then honest to God, dude, I've just been sitting at my desk all day, working on shit for the show, and enjoying the hell out of what is March and all of these epic games and conference tournaments that we have going on, bro. It's been an epic day. Obviously, we're going to be continuing to bet long into the night. I believe we have games tipping off as late as 9 p.m. my time. So, I mean, Noah, really from now until the end of March, it's going to be a mad sprint when it comes to sports betting and sports watching.
That it will be. I for one, I'm stoked. I'm pumped. Can't wait to get into it.
Bro, same. And, they always say, like, you want to, it's a marathon, not a sprint. And yeah, don't get me wrong, it is a marathon, but this is a marathon you got to sprint. If you don't sprint this marathon, you're going to be left behind. You're going to lose out on good bets. You're going to lose out on good plays. But luckily, Noah, that's why we took all 4 days off so that we can live stream in the metaverse and on YouTube in order to give the degenerates what they want and as the best live college basketball reactions, takes, and bets. Noah, super stoked for that. But, we'll get into some more college basketball stuff in a second. Noah, let's talk about the NFL because it seems that no matter how far away we get from the end of the season, there is still so much to talk about. Obviously, the biggest news that I think you and I are not shocked by whatsoever, we've got Aaron Rodgers saying that he is going to stay with the Packers. A deal has not been reached to it, has not been signed yet. However, Aaron is going to stay in Green Bay. Green Bay also went through and franchise tagged Devontae Adams. Interesting move, as we both thought it was going to be a bigger deal. Longer term deal. Noah, you are the resident Packers fan here. Please walk me through what you're feeling, how you're thinking, and are the Packers ready to make a run? And by a run, I don't mean do what they do the last 3 years and just make the playoffs and then choke it away. Like, are they actually going to make a run at this and get to the fucking Super Bowl, dude?
Well, first we need to see what this deal is that Rodgers and the Packers come to agreement on. They're going to be in a really tough position if, because Rodgers said that he's returning to the Packers. He does still have a year on his contract. If he's just planning on playing out that last year, that's a massive cap hit. That's going to make it hard. There's going to be some guys that are going to need to be cut or released, which that'll hurt because then I don't think the team's going to be quite as strong as it was last year. Now, if this deal is a multi-year extension that he ends up releasing, and then they can play with the salary cap like most teams do and shuffle things around and get that all figured out, then I think the Packers have to be, I would say, the favorite. With some of the other moves they've made with coaching personnel and, making sure to fix those special team issues, which I have no doubt that special teams is going to be worlds better this year.
Yeah, it has to be at this point.
Rumor has it the Packers are they've been interviewing receivers that might be available to fall to them in the first round of the draft. Something that we have not seen the Packers do is draft a receiver in the first round.
No, I believe before Jordan Love, they have not drafted a skilled player since in 15 years or something like that. And then they went out and got Love.
Something, but I've been hearing that the Packers have interviewed guys like Chris Olave out of Ohio State, Jameson Williams, who obviously some concern about the knee injury. He probably won't be healthy for the start of the season.
Yeah.
However, if he bounces back, if you can get him late in the first round and he bounces back and is what he was is supposed to be, and that injury doesn't hamper him, besides, missing maybe the first half of his rookie season, that is a huge, huge steal at 28 or 27, wherever the Packers are in the draft order.
And that's the thing. I think. Sorry, yeah, and just to jump on that, I think that's one thing that we need to be very cognizant of when we go into this draft period, because normally the draft is taken up by quarterback talk. Who's going to go to a team? Who's going to change that team, turn that team around? This is not a deep quarterback class whatsoever. I would say it's hardly a quarterback class whatsoever, but again, I'm not a college football analyst like our boy Mel Kiper, who seems to get everything wrong all the time, but that's neither here nor there. However, this is a very talented wide receiver running back core, and so if the Packers do need a number 2 or even a receiver just to be out there and just run some plays so Devontae can get open, I mean, this is a good draft class to do that. This is a very good draft class to do that. I'm hype on the Packers, bro. Obviously, when you sign a quarterback to what's going to end up being a long-term deal, obviously nothing's been released yet, but when you sign a quarterback to that, you show that commitment. They have done so much work with Aaron Rodgers since the Jordan Love incident and everything in mending that relationship, and ultimately I think that's what it came down to, is Rodgers wanted to stay in Green Bay. He didn't want to go anywhere, and they gave him the opportunity to stay, and he's going to continue to stay. I'm stoked for the Green Bay Packers. As a Bears fan, I saw a clip earlier today, I believe I sent it to you, of a 90-year-old Bears fan being told there was NFL news yesterday. He was like, oh, what's the news? And sure enough, they said Aaron Rodgers re-signed with the Packers. He kind of looked away and said, shit. And my God, I feel that down to the core. I hate seeing Rodgers twice a year as a Bears fan, but hopefully our new coaching staff and everything figures shit out. I'm so excited about the Bears season, Noah, if you can't tell. The Bears are going to do great this year, especially since Aaron Rodgers is staying in the fucking division. Woohoo! Fuck.
Yeah, like I said, it all comes down to the details of Rodgers' contract.
Yes.
Because there are some key pieces from our defense that, in Devondre Campbell and then Rasul Douglas after his big emergence. Although Rasul's probably not super expensive based on what he's hinted at. He was so grateful for the Packers for, kind of giving him that last chance of his career after he'd been bouncing from practice squad to practice squad and getting cut from practice squads. And then he, emerged and had a really nice year.
Yeah.
And at the end of the season, he alluded to, not that he would take the veteran minimum, but, it wouldn't take much higher than the veteran minimum to bring him back. They asked, what would it take for you to come back as a Packer? And his response was, for them to want me back.
And I mean, hey, if that's the kind of culture the Packers have, they want to stay around in Green Bay. They want to play with Aaron another year. They believe in the system and what's going on. That, you can't buy that type of a culture. You can't go out and buy all of these receivers and everything and expect them to work in the culture. They already have a culture that's there. They have players that want to be there. They have good players that want to stay there. And so if they can retain as many as they want to, they're going to have a great year, bro. They just got to figure out special teams because they're giving up easy points, easy yards, and setting themselves up for failure if that doesn't get fixed. Do you have any other closing thoughts on the Packers before we move on to other quarterback talk?
I think they will fix the special teams. And just to piggyback off of that statement you just made, AJ, I'm going to steal a little book out of Loyola basketball, kind of what they've been saying all year. Winning is fun. That's what you need. I mean, that's why. Otherwise, why the hell would anybody want to go play for Green Bay other than the immense history of the organization?
Exactly.
It's because they win and they consistently win and they win a lot of games. And guess what? Winning is a hell of a lot more fun than losing. So
so much more fun. So much more fun. And no matter what, you're getting paid millions of dollars to play a game that you love, but you'd rather win that game than lose and be with those $1 million. I'd rather have a nice Super Bowl ring to go along with that. Let's talk about, speaking of Super Bowls, a former Super Bowl quarterback who is looking to make another team a Super Bowl contender. Russell Wilson is being traded to the Denver Broncos. Whew. I mean, honest to God, as a person who follows the NFC West extremely closely, so happy to see Russell Wilson get out of there and open it up a little bit, and seeing the Seahawks, kind of in a rebuilding process. They're not going to go out and
Drew Lock, baby.
You got Drew Lock under center. I mean, you still got DK and the boys out there on offense. Not a terrible offense. Defense still needs some help. That O-line needs some help. But the Seahawks will also be receiving 2 first-round picks, tight end Noah Fant and defensive end Williams. I did not look up the first name because I am a terrible host. Who do you think won this trade?
Well, they also got 2 second-round picks.
Oh, okay.
And a 5th. Seattle's sending a 4th-round pick with Russell. Wilson.
Okay, that's fair.
And I can tell you, the Broncos absolutely won this trade.
Oh, yeah.
Because, I mean, that first-round pick for this year, whatever, that's okay. It's kind of middle-of-the-pack pick. Broncos are, if they're a playoff team next year, that first-round pick following year is not that good. The second-round pick's not that good. Those picks are okay, but, they don't even get, a quarterback in return.
No.
I mean, they just have a, idiot schmuck who throws the ball sometimes, most of the time to the other team. Yeah, I don't think the Seahawks really got that much value back in return.
No.
If I'm going to be completely honest, because I don't. And this was my problem with, and the Packers were, they would have been smart enough if Rodgers wanted to be traded, which, he doesn't. But that's why I kept saying Denver's not a viable, because they weren't willing to give up a lot of their decent players.
No.
And they were just trying to package in. I mean, for Rodgers, it probably would have been 3 first-round picks and maybe some extra picks. But the whole thing with those first-round picks is if you put Aaron Rodgers on the Broncos, they're a playoff team. Those picks are in the 20s.
Exactly.
And so those first-round picks in the 20s doesn't do you that good.
No.
I think if you're trading a franchise player like that for first-round picks, you want to be sure that those picks are going to be top 10, top 5 picks so you can get value in return for it.
Exactly. And there was just no value in what Denver gave Seattle. I'm a huge fan of Noah Fant and what he does at the tight end position. Love how he plays
who the fuck's going to throw him the ball?
Exactly. What good is he? What good is DK Metcalf if there is no quarterback to throw the ball? Drew Lock, obviously, I think we both know is not the answer in Seattle. And Pete Carroll, if he's going to stick around, he ain't going to be coaching Drew Lock. I'm going to tell you that right here, right now. He will fuck off back to college like we were talking about yesterday. My big thing about this with Seattle is they know how tough this NFC West division is. It's arguably the toughest division in football because we just kick the shit out of each other all season. They are not going to be able to compete without a competent quarterback. Drew Lock is not going to be able to win a game in the NFC West. I do not see if Drew Lock is
not a question. It's not a question anymore about the toughest division. It's the AFC West, especially now. Kansas City, the Chargers, now Denver with Russell Wilson.
Yeah, with Russell Wilson now. I didn't know about that.
And the Raiders were a damn playoff team this last year.
They were.
Let's not forget that.
Team, bro.
Let's not forget the Raiders were a playoff team.
Damn, yeah, you're right.
Everyone wants to kick the Raiders to the curb and be like, oh, well, they're 100% finishing last in this division. But I'm like, I don't know. They finished above the Chargers and the Broncos last year. Granted, the Broncos, they didn't know what the hell they were doing at quarterback.
No.
So I do think the Broncos will take that step up. But, and I get it. I would say the Raiders are most likely to finish last in this division, but I wouldn't count them out.
No.
I wouldn't count them out. I think the Raiders could somehow, if the pieces fall correctly, they could somehow work their way into second in this division by a game.
Yeah, and let's not forget, the NFC West had 3 teams in the playoffs this year. The AFC West obviously can do that, but the Seattle Seahawks were in last place and didn't make the playoffs, but they were not playoff contenders. If a conference can send 4 teams to the playoffs, the NFC West would have done that this year. We may be looking at a situation where that is a viable option next season, depending on, if everyone splits and stuff like that, because those in conference play is going to be epic. In division play is going to be epic. In the AFC West, give me the over on every single game. I'll take that already. Go ahead and cash me out.
Yeah.
But Noah, sorry, go ahead.
Just because you mentioned the Cardinals, you gotta like, maybe not the next year or maybe not the next 2 years. Well, as long as the Cardinals figure out whatever the hell they're doing with the Kyler Murray situation, but if they figure out a way to like sign Kyler Murray to a longer term deal, I think you have to like the future, because the Rams are not built for more than one more run. Seattle's in a complete rebuild. San Francisco is moving on from Jimmy Garoppolo. Trey Lance, this is, not this next year, because I think the Rams should be the favorite in the NFC West again next year.
Another run.
But the year after that, when they start running into, cap issues and needing to like move a bunch of pieces and let go of a lot of guys that, were part of this Super Bowl team and this next run that they'll try to go on. I mean, you got to like your position for the future if you're the Cardinals.
So don't get me wrong. I love the position the Cardinals are in because, as you mentioned, Seattle's in a full rebuild. Jimmy G is out of the 49ers. Trey Lance can't really – I don't know what they're going to do with Trey Lance if we're going to be completely honest.
Well,
and then
he's a question mark. He's just a question mark because I don't think we know how Trey Lance is going to pan out yet.
No, not at all.
We haven't seen a whole lot of him.
We will definitely – follow that as it goes, obviously. But my biggest issue, I guess, with the Cardinals is, we are set up to do really well in the future and everything, but that's just in the division. We are set up to win the division. That is all we're set up to do. We are not set up in order to win playoff games. And I personally, after watching Kyler this season and after watching everything this season, I don't think Kyler's the answer. I mean, I know I've been very vocal about that on this show. Fire Cliff Kingsbury, get Kyler out of there. Let's get a new regime in there. And we're not going to see it. We're not going to see it. Kyler Murray reposting all of his Arizona Cardinals shit back on Instagram because social media is apparently the end-all, be-all of everything. It sucks. It sucks as a Cardinals fan. I need Kyler to come out. And, if he's saying, I didn't want to run the ball because I'm not on a long-term deal. I was already injured. I want to be valuable. If you guys are going to trade me, blah, 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 whatever, dude. It's the playoffs. He did not run the ball one time during the playoffs. And when he did run during that game, it was for 10, 15 yards. And so it obviously fucking works in that system. And so if he's going to keep being a scared little bitch, I don't want him under center. I want a quarterback who's going to be able to not only win the division outright, but who's also going to be able to win some playoff games, And I'm okay with going to an NFC championship game or something and losing at this point because I just want to see progress, and I'm not seeing any progress right now with the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, I don't think Kyler has, any issue with his amount of talent, his skill, any of that. To me, it's a fucking attitude issue.
Yes.
And
terrible attitude.
And so I don't put that entire blame on him, though. Some of that falls on the shoulders of Kingsbury.
Yes, 100%.
100%. Who's not a great coach, not a great play caller, and clearly he has not been able to like get Kyler Murray to act the way Kyler Murray needs to be acting.
Exactly.
Like, this dude is a man-child in multiple ways. The way he looks, but also how he acts. He acts like a fucking kid.
Yeah. It's
and
awful.
He's supposed to be one of the leaders of the team at the quarterback position. That's something you have to do, and he's not a leader.
Not even a little bit. Not even a fake leader. Like, he doesn't even pretend to be a leader. Like, he's just not a leader whatsoever. And that's what's so fucking frustrating about this Cardinals team. Is this Cardinals team is ready to go off. We have the weapons. We have the talent. We have everything we need to pop off and win a Super Bowl. But do we have a quarterback who's all in? Do we have a quarterback who's going to stand up for our team? Do we have a quarterback who's going to do what is necessary to win those games? And I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced whatsoever. But Noah, moving on from the Cardinals, let's talk about another quarterback on the move, just signed today. Our boy Carson Wentz is now a Commander. The AFC East getting weaker and weaker by the day. It is fascinating to watch. I mean, honest to God, no, I was shocked when I saw this news and heard about this news because I remember just last year the Colts signing Carson Wentz to a major contract for 2 years or 3 years or whatever it was. And,
I think it was
looking at that.
2 year. 2-year deal, because I think he's only got 1 year left on it.
That sounds right. That sounds right. And that price tag, it's kind of like Matt Ryan. It's like no one's going to pick up that price tag. It's unbelievable. Well, I guess when you're, calling the Kansas City Chiefs and offering to back up a Brinks truck for Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen and everyone, I mean, yeah, you go ahead and you pick up Carson Wentz's huge contract and really take a gamble on him. I mean, he didn't play terrible for the Colts. I mean, they were going to be a playoff team until they lost in Jacksonville, which, I mean, how the hell do you even do that? I think
because Carson Wentz is your fucking quarterback.
But Noah, what do you think about this? Because I think overall, this is a good move for everybody involved.
I don't know. Do I even need to say? I mean, if you follow the show, AJ, you know how much I hate Carson Wentz and how I cannot say enough that I feel like he should not ever be a starting quarterback in the NFL. And the Colts went and were like, "Oh yeah, we'll give you, 50 mil over 2 years." And I'm like, what the hell are they doing? I would sign a fucking grocery bagger off the streets before Carson Wentz. Because A, this dude, when healthy, is not that great. And B, he can't stay healthy.
No, he can't stay healthy at all.
This is the man who sprained both ankles in the same play. How? How is that possible? How do you sprain both ankles in the same play? I don't know. His bones are made of glass. And he's got to go play at the notorious FedEx Field, the field that has ended careers because of injuries. Not just multiple careers have been ended because of injuries at that garbage ass fucking stadium. This is a disaster for Washington, but they probably know that. They're not trying to win this next year. Plus, part of this deal too, I don't understand why Washington would ever be inclined to do this. So you give up 2 third-round picks.
Yeah.
And in return, you have to take Carson Wentz and his entire contract. This is a lose-lose for Washington. They just double lost. And for the Colts, they get to, ship off Carson Wentz and his baggage. They don't have to pay him the $25 million this year. And they get 2 third-round picks in return. The Colts came out like bandits in this one. This is like, I don't know. This is like selling your garbage to the garbage man. I don't like. That is how I equate this deal. It's like selling your garbage to the garbage man.
Yeah, dude. I mean, when you put it that way, it does seem like the Commanders maybe came out on the wrong end of the deal there. Yeah, I mean, the Colts really came out on top on this one, getting rid of Carson, being able to explore new quarterback options. Obviously, Mitch Trubisky being the hottest name on the market right now is such a weak quarterback class. Oh, I don't know what the Commanders were thinking, bro. I really don't. The commies, they just threw a bag, bro. They just threw the bag, and they were like, yep, take it all. We don't fucking need it. We just need Carson, apparently.
for God's sake, like, if you're going to make a stupid deal like that, at least, like, go and get Jimmy G or something. That's at least, like...
made it to playoffs and...
at least
led
he's,
bad
like,
teams. And...
I mean, I don't love Jimmy G either, but at least I could say, like, some decent things about him. I got nothing good to say about Carson Wentz.
No, nothing really.
The greatest thing he's done in his career was get injured so Nick Foles could take over and win a Super Bowl.
Wow, the Carson Wentz slander is real on the show today. But no, I can't blame you. I mean, he really hasn't shown anything or done anything worth a damn in a long fucking time. And so, who knows? Maybe this change of scenery is all Carson Wentz needs to step up and be that, player that we think he might be able to be. I don't fucking know with him anymore, dude. I really don't. All I know is that...
I don't even know that he's an upgrade over Heineke. Like, at that point, like...
I don't know about that, Noah. I don't know about that.
I don't think the difference is enough. if you're Washington, just stick with Heineke, save the $25 million, and keep your 2 third-round picks.
I don't know.
Or, like I said, go after someone like Jimmy G. Trubisky would be a better option in my mind. I mean,
I'm shocked Trubisky hasn't been signed yet. I'm honest to God shocked Trubisky has not been signed by anyone yet. I mean, he's a backup on the Bills, unless the Bills are going to try to retain him as a backup because he's a great backup. But I don't understand how he hasn't been signed yet. I mean, free agency has been open for the last day.
Because he hasn't done anything other than sit on the bench?
Yeah, but there are a bunch of teams out there who desperately need a quarterback. Look at the Colts. Look at the 49ers. Look at anyone. And honest to God, Mitch Trubisky, as much as I was not a fan of him and wanted him out of town, he's probably the best option out there right now, besides maybe a Tyrod Taylor or something like that.
I mean, the other part of that, though, too, is I don't think most teams have, forgotten how bad he was with the Bears.
Dude, he was so... But at this point, how much do you attribute that to Matt Nagy?
I think there's enough data and enough years that you can put a good chunk of that on Trubisky himself.
I don't know anymore. If this was 2 years ago, I agree with you. Mitch Trubisky's the worst thing ever and everything, but watching Matt Nagy call plays and everything with Justin Fields, Andy Dalton, Nick Foles, do you want me to keep naming all the fucking quarterbacks we've had since Matt Nagy's been in office? I mean, he didn't succeed with one of them. And so I don't know how much of that actually, looking at it now, was on Trubisky and how much of it was on Matt Nagy.
Foles is that's another name that, Foles is
That's another name, yeah, what the hell?
And this is former Super Bowl MVP Nick Foles. Let's not forget that.
Yeah.
And, now that he's done with his, ridiculous contract that the Bears decided to pick up just to have him ride the bench. You could probably sign Foles to him, this is a guy you can give backup money to.
Yeah.
If you're in desperate need of a starter who will do okay, at least. He's got plenty of experience. So if you're just looking for a bridge quarterback for a year or two, like I said, Foles is a guy you can pay backup money to and have him start.
Oh, 100%. And with all the salary cap gymnastics right now, you can make anything kind of work. Noah, anything else going on in the NFL that we missed or you want to talk about or anything like that?
Had some franchise tags going out.
A couple. Yeah, Devontae, as we said, getting franchise tagged.
The big one. Other than that, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what what free agency ends up looking like, which I believe that's not open until maybe the 24th or 22nd, something.
I want to say it's open now, is it not? Or at least the tampering period or some bullshit like that.
No, but I think I believe there's a little bit of a couple weeks between the end of the tag deadline and when free agent. March 16th. So,
March 16th. Okay, so we're about 7 days out.
Yep, so a week from today at 4 p.m. Eastern.
So wait, Noah, I'm so sorry. You're telling me that next week we're not only getting March Madness, we're getting free agency starting?
That would be correct. So yeah, teams.
Wow.
Yeah, so teams that have guys who are due to be free agents have, 7 days almost to the dot.
Work that shit out.
To work out a deal with those players before those players can go wherever the hell they want.
Ooh, wow, that'll be an epic week next week. Really excited that we get to cover all of that. We'll obviously break any NBA news while we are live streaming into Centraland and on YouTube for the first 2 rounds of March Madness, our March Madness extravaganza. It's gonna be freaking epic. Speaking of March Madness, Noah, we got a shit ton of college basketball going on right now throughout the week. Obviously, as we've been talking about yesterday and talking about now today, conference championships are going on. I mean, I'm watching Wake Forest right now against Boston College, and you know how I know we're in March? Because a superior team is tied with a very unsuperior team.
Bro, this game has been back and forth.
It really has been, man. Like, you know, Wake Forest was
Boston
up,
College,
they were covering, and then they come back. It's miserable.
Yeah, I mean, BC got off to a hot start. Was not looking good. Wake made it real close, and then, you know, BC got ahead again, and then Wake went on some big run to go up almost 10 points, and here we are tied at 66 with 3 minutes and 20 seconds left to play.
Unreal.
But I'm also keeping my eye on the Stanford-Arizona State game, just because that will be our opponent tomorrow.
Yes.
You know, we'll see whose bags get packed today and whose bags we're going to have to pack for them tomorrow.
Should we announce it right now, Noah?
Announce what?
Oh, wait, no. We're doing not U of A tomorrow, right?
Yeah. We have to discuss which game we're covering, but
yeah,
we will be covering one of them.
We will be live streaming one of the games tomorrow. It's just a matter of scheduling and figuring out which one. Follow us on Twitter at DGenTakes in order to stay up to date on our live streams and which games we're covering when we go into this epic March Madness. Noah, is there any games you're looking at today? Any locks that you see that are just like, oh, wow, I can't believe the book put that line there?
You know, I haven't looked deep enough through the slate yet today. I've gotten my earlier games in, but yeah, I mean, I'm browsing through it right now. I'll let you know.
Hey, sounds good, man. We will figure it out.
That, I mean, the Oregon -9 against Oregon State's kind of jumping out to me a little bit.
That's a nice line. I like that one a lot.
Part of me feels like that could be a little bit of a trap game too. But Norfolk State to cover 16 against Delaware State.
Ooh.
I know it is March, so I do get a little bit more weary of higher spreads, but this is a 21-16 against a 2-25 team, so I'm not too worried about that one.
What do you think about this the Cal Washington State game? Cal getting 8.5.
Yeah, I would have said Washington State in a heartbeat. I mean, I do think they will win, but that 8.5 makes me nervous.
That is a rough number. It really is. Really is rough. And then, dude, there are just so many good games on today. Georgetown, Seton Hall, Utah, Washington.
I got to say, I love one of the late games. I love Virginia to cover 6.
I was about to bring that up. Virginia and Louisville going at it tonight. 6 is the spread. What's the total on that game? Ooh, 122. That's over, right?
This is Virginia we're talking about.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I mean, not as good as they have been in previous years, but it's still Virginia basketball. They play super low scoring, slow games.
Slow basketball.
Complete opposite of how Arizona basketball's been this year. Virginia likes to play super slow.
Yeah.
So it doesn't surprise me that.
Ooh, okay. Lock of the night. You go ahead and take K-State minus the 1.5 over West Virginia.
You think?
I do. This West Virginia team is not good whatsoever. When I watch them play, they don't have it. Don't get me wrong. They've gotten lucky in some games. They've won enough to stay in contention and everything, but just not a team that I see any value in or anything good coming out of tonight.
Yeah, I mean, West Virginia's had a terrible run at the conference this year, but the Big 12 is also incredibly good. This West Virginia team, I think they were in the rankings early on in the season through the non-conference schedule at some point. think they cracked into the rankings there in that like 20 to 25 area.
Sounds right. Yeah,
And
they
then
were in there for a minute.
And then obviously, like I said, I've just had an atrocious Big 12 run.
Yeah. Just dog shit, but it happens. It happens. No, what about this San Jose State Fresno State game? 13.5 is the spread. Fresno State being the favorite.
Oh yeah, yeah. San Jose State's doggy doo doo.
Yeah. You take the 13.5 and you just kind of enjoy your night.
I would. I don't trust San Jose State at all to do anything right.
Fair enough, man. You betting on any other games tonight, or are you just sticking with college?
You talking about like NHL?
Yeah, I mean, there's 2 games on the slate tonight: Capitals, Oilers, Canadiens, Canucks.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like either of those lines enough to take them. But
neither do I. Hey, do I have a chance to fade the Lakers today?
You do. They're a 6-point favorite playing at the Rockets.
Rockets, money line. Book it now.
I don't know. I mean, the Rockets are missing like 2 or 3 of their best players. And not that I like trust the Lakers that much, but
oh shit. Are we going to OT?
I mean, the Rockets are I feel like the Rockets are shitty enough that like that's a game LeBron will just kind of do everything himself because he gets absolutely no damn help from that team.
And I'm just throwing it out there.
By the way,
LeBron is a late scratch. DNP.
Yeah. By the way, I don't like love LeBron. I mean, I respect his game and everything. He's not one of my favorites, but I will say I feel bad for him, although it's kind of on him for putting this team together. But oh my God, you see him just fucking standing around and like LeBron's playing 1-on-5.
Oh, dude, it's so funny.
And he still gets buckets and puts up numbers, but like he's got no fucking teammates. They're just. No. I mean, it would be a different story if Anthony Davis could stay healthy, but he obviously can't. We've seen that over the last few years.
LeBron is, laying in the grave he dug himself. He put this team together. He got everyone around, and he's paying the price for it. What a quote-unquote super team is and everything like that. Just a rough look for LeBron overall. Good to know he's as good of a GM as Michael Jordan is. And yeah, so, if you're a team owner, remember this in the next 10, 15 years after LeBron retires and he wants to be a GM somewhere.
Yeah. The unfortunate thing is, like, LeBron is, like, his game is still, like...
Oh, it's so good, dude.
So high level, but he's got no help. And turns out you can't really win a basketball game 1-on-5.
No, apparently not. No matter if you're the GOAT or not.
But I might be. Now this is an interesting one, but I might. I'll probably take the Suns plus 4.5. I might try to take them money line. They are playing at the Heat. That's a tough matchup.
Yes, but Booker's back.
Yes, which will make a difference. AJ Phoenix should probably still get the 1 seed. They'll win enough games. They have I mean, the Warriors have not been looking that good lately.
No.
Suns have given the fact that we only have what?
There's only something like that?
Yeah, only 17, and they've got they've got 8 games on Memphis with 17 left. So all they got to do is pretty much go 500. They don't even need to go 500. I mean, if Memphis won every single one of their games, they'd need to go a game over 500. But so the Suns should pretty much lock up that and probably the best record in the NBA.
Yeah, and that's why they're not rushing. That's why they're not worried about Chris Paul. They're not going to rush him back or anything like that. They're going to make sure he's fully healthy. I wouldn't expect to see him before the first round of playoffs.
Yeah, and the Suns are, looks like, only about 3 wins away from clinching playoffs. Obviously, that's not that that's any surprise. That's kind of meaningless this season. Clinching playoffs doesn't mean shit. So long as they hold on to that 1 seed, which they should. That will be nice to have that home court advantage.
Oh, so nice, especially with that Phoenix crowd, bro. Shit. Whew.
And hey, let me tell you, the Suns are fun to watch, and they seem to, even with guys out with injuries, they've had Ayton missing games, obviously Chris Paul out now, Booker's missed games. They seem to still find a way to win with, I don't want to call them the scrubs, but they've just got a deep roster of guys who can contribute. Now, come playoff time, obviously, you're not usually playing that roster as deep.
Yep.
You're keeping the stars out there more. But I think it's a huge credit to Monty Williams. I mean, he's a hell of a coach. He's doing an amazing job.
No, he's doing unbelievable. And absolutely. You don't play that deep of a roster. Oh, are we going to OT? No, fuck. Time stop. Sorry, I'm still watching the Boston College Wake Forest game. But Monty, he's put together such a good team. He has led this team so well this season and last season. And you're right. You don't play your bench that deep when you go into playoffs and everything. But the Suns have that option. Their bench, as they've shown, can go up against some of the best and hold their own and win games. And so maybe that's going to be something Monty's looking at going into playoffs and everything is, maybe, I can get Booker off the floor for 5-7 minutes so that I can, get him rested for, this big push in the fourth quarter or whatever, and they can rely on those bench guys to go in there and at least keep the lead or keep it competitive,
Well, and I think JaVale McGee is going to make a big difference. Yes. Having him when Ayton has to come off the court instead of Frank Kaminsky.
Yes.
Now, Frank Kaminsky, he started looking a little bit better, but he's not a guy you want covering NBA centers.
No, not at all.
Like he's an okay bench option, but when Ayton was started was out, missed a game with injury or illness, missed a couple games, and you had Frank Kaminsky in there at starting center. That was just atrocious.
That was rough.
So having JaVale McGee be able to take some of those minutes, and then Bismack Biyombo too. I mean, as a third option is not terrible.
Not bad at all.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. Obviously, we got about a month left or so in the
about a month left
NBA
in
season.
The NBA regular season, and then we get into playoffs when shit actually matters.
Yeah, NHL on a similar time frame.
Yeah, NHL's on a similar time frame as well. Do you see the Coyotes blew out the Red Wings 9-2 yesterday?
Yeah.
The fuck?
Yeah, that pissed me off because got Nedeljkovic, the goalie for the Red Wings, on my fantasy team, and he racked me up a solid -10 yesterday. That was great. Well, especially because my other goalie Vasilevsky put up -4.2. I'm like, great. My two goalies notching me -14.2. That was real helpful, guys. Oh boy, let's see what happens here. Are we going to get overtime or
OT, please? We got OT.
No foul
9.5 still alive.
Well, it's March and we got free basketball, baby.
Woo! You'll love to see it. Noah. I can't really think of anything else to talk about right now. Do you have anything else to say to the D-Gens out there?
I will just say, man, overtime, not usually the friend of the underdog, so we'll see what happens. I'm not jumping to any conclusions yet, but, it was a good fight, BC, but see what you can do here in overtime.
We will see, and we will be back tomorrow covering one of the college basketball games. Follow us on Twitter at DGenTakes for more information on which game it is that we will be covering. Who knows, because I don't know yet. but we will tell you eventually, and we will see you next time on Degenerate.